Welcome to the Wrap-Up, a VR live stream focused on keeping you up to date with the adoption of universal profiles and growth of the new creative economy. Join us as we uncover the fusion of technology, artistry, and innovation that's redefining how we create, share, and experience in this digital age. It's time to wrap it up. Welcome back, everyone. After a multiple week hiatus, we're back with the wrap up. Today's December 1st, 2023. And before we dive into today's show, let's take a moment, if you haven't already, to click that like button and subscribe. It helps a ton and ensures you don't miss any of our upcoming episodes. Also, if you want to chat with us offline, meaning off this live stream, be sure to find us on Common Ground in the MetaHeads and the KEEZ communities, because Common Ground is the Web3 community platform that we've all been waiting for. Alts, how's it?
Keith, my guy, is doing good. Feeling great, man. Hope the fam out there is having a wonderful Friday and a good early start to their weekend. I'm excited, man. Exciting times lately. We got LUKSO's coming off of meetup number 2 in Istanbul. We got the hackathon judging. It's already in process, and a bit in the green markets today. So a lot to be excited about.
A lot to be excited about. And we'll get into that in just a second. But before we do that, a word from our friends and sponsors over at LEEQUID. LEEQUID is a liquid staking solution purposely built for the LUKSO blockchain. Users can stake LYX tokens and in return, earn receipt SLYX tokens redeemable 1-to-1 for the deposited LYX. LEEQUID notably offers flexibility, allowing users to opt in or out of staking at any moment via the protocol's liquidity pool. This feature removes the potentially extensive wait times typically associated with traditional staking methods. With the support of advisors and multi-signatories from the LUKSO team, LEEQUID is steadfast in its commitment to achieving decentralization from the beginning, underlining transparency and trust. Following a thorough audit by consensus, LEEQUID is set to launch in October, integrating suggestions to ensure a seamless and secure user experience. Don't forget to follow LEEQUID on Twitter to stay updated on opportunities for earning passive rewards and contributing to the security of the LUKSO blockchain. What do you think about that, Holtz? Are you feeling liquid?
I'm feeling super liquid. That's one of my favorite things to do in Web3 is going in there and grabbing my staking rewards, which is a couple of clicks, super sleek and easy.
Yeah, without a doubt. I'm a proud LEEQUID user. And right now, although the LEEQUID staking pool has been locked down, it's because they're being responsible and not taking too much of the network share. But we're sure to see more opportunities for people to get involved in staking as the LUKSO DApp nodes start getting shipped out, and then more staking protocols come online, like the staking verse. So, friends,
it's gonna be great.
If you're waiting to stake, it's coming soon.
Well, let's get into it, Eth. Right out the gate, I kind of wanted to do a quick vibe check, from Istanbul. We've been saying it for a long time, like when you kind of have boots on the ground and you get to hang with the team, for a week there and kind of seeing how hard they work in real time, how much their passion and energy, just it's very infectious, right? It gets you really hyped. And when you see other people, very brilliant minds, other devs and project leads in the space, just soaking up that alpha, in real time, it's really great to see. Like the dev team's quite a unique blend of brilliant minds with various backgrounds and perspectives, but they kind of all coalesce together into this just beast mode machine. Like together, they're a very formidable team, I will say, that we are in great hands, And those presentation videos, they will be rolling out pretty soon from the team. So be excited to see those.
Without a doubt. Seem to have a frog in my throat for some reason. I'm trying to clear it without being obnoxious, but it's like sitting there. First tweet we got, I actually have a tweet from Louis, and it was his kind of wrap up takeaways from Devconnect. And you can see when LUKSO does a meetup, it is very pink, from the cocktails being pink to the very custom pink lights that they bring into any space. It's a very classy established, or the Soho House, which is the venue, was a very classy establishment. And then the LUKSO team does a nice job of maybe even making it classier. I don't know if you'd agree with me on that one.
I would agree with you. You're stacking levels of class there is what we're doing.
Yeah, stacking levels of class. Good. We're like, I don't know if it's additive class or like multiplicative class,
It's like
but
a class upgrade.
Upgrade. Good call. I see the chat is popping off. Thank you everyone who's showing up down there. We have visitors from Europe. I saw Canvas Land in the chats there. Guys, thanks so much for tuning in. Really appreciate you tuning in live. Remember all of these. Yeah, ETH does need to take a sip of water.
He needs some liquid in his throat right now.
All of these tweets, remember, are listed in the description of these YouTube videos. So do yourself a favor, go and read the full thread that Louis put together here relative to his experience at Devconnect. Devconnect was a really interesting time. A lot of talk about account abstraction. Louis is a very, very sharp individual who's got a lot of really interesting takeaways. So check this one out. We're not going to spend a ton of time on this one. Yeah. Instead, and what we will talk about is go to the next tweet that we have for you. Louis is actually talking. So if you find yourself in Berlin on December 5th at the Next Block Expo or anywhere near there, you can see Louis O'Connor himself, the head of talent at LUKSO, presenting Blockchain Beyond DeFi, onboarding the new creative economies on the main stage there, which is actually a really kind of cool event, because anytime you get to see the core LUKSO team talk, you really start to connect with the passion that they have for their mission. And that mission is completely remaking how we use the Web3 experience, or how we use Web3.
Yeah, well said, Heath. That's kind of the whole ethos of this movement, right? Like I would like to call it a movement, because we're trying to be transformative and changing just the narrative and blockchain in general, right? So it's such an important message, like showing the space that there's more, there's more to this than just those monetary tools, and kind of explaining and sharing, what the new creative economy is going to do to kind of bring in, mass adoption on a whole new level with a whole new class of use cases that way.
Yeah. We're not going to go super deep into Istanbul because we did talk about it a bit on the Tuesday community space, What's Up, that we host on Twitter. Sage actually wrapped up Istanbul quite nicely with the LUKSO fam talking with Beef and the Yellow Turtle. So if you want to hear more about Devconnect from probably our perspective, just check out one of those two talks and you'll get our general feelings on it. The actual talks themselves, we're going to wait until LUKSO releases those, because they did a professional job of filming them before we kind of dig deeper into what was talked about. I've alluded to some really interesting talks that were given. I loved Callum's talk about using custom universal profiles, especially LSP6, which is inside of a universal profile, the key manager, to do some nice interesting stuff on the back end. So you can use a universal profile as back end tooling. And then I know both of us really enjoyed John's recipe talk, and we had a whole bunch of laughs about Gordon Ramsay, right?
Oh yeah. I loved all the analogies, and the memes were great as well. And the AI art, but that's like these talks, you guys are going to love it when they drop them. Because every time you hear a new presentation from someone on the team, it gives you just more insight to the possibilities, and gives you kind of more nuggets to be able to, pink pill your friends with, new ways to explain things in very digestible manner. So yeah, I'm looking forward to these going live.
Yeah, and actually I had asked Callum to share a couple slides from his presentation because I was really excited to kind of get that information out to everybody and try to help surface it. But the more I looked at it and the more I thought about it, I said, you know what? I want Callum to be authentic, and we can hear it straight out of his mouth on the video, and then we can recap it. I feel like that'll be a much better way around this than go the other route. Like there's no need to kind of give that message too early.
Yeah, we got plenty of other stuff to dive into in the meantime as well anyway.
Yeah, without a doubt. And Polymath, I saw that you're here. I'm happy you're here, man.
Good to see you, fam.
Yeah, without a doubt. All right, so we got plenty of other stuff to talk about. There might be something that is just, I don't know, like in process, just ending. It's like, what? Isn't there something big going on?
No, I feel like somebody was hacking on something. Maybe it was like they were sick too. They were hacking up something. No, actually, no, they were hacking on profiles, I think.
Yeah, not ETH hacking in his throat. The BuildUP #2 hackathon actually is, I would say, underway, but no longer from the submission. point of view. Now we're into the judging point of view, and you can see our judges down there are from the LUKSO team. You've got a good portion of the smart contract team, and you have a couple of additions there, right? You've got Steven, who's the lead for the Universal Profiles browser extension and also mobile extension. Plus, you've got Hugo, who is our tech lead overall for the LUKSO team, and then Fabian being the founder. So really some interesting things, interesting people. They're going to have interesting perspectives. I can't wait to see what they think.
Yeah, for sure. I can't wait to hear their thoughts and see what the projects they have, selected as winners. Like, it's quite a squad there, and I don't envy the challenge of having to narrow down those 70 entries, and try to pick some winners. But that's probably a really fun process to dive in, right? Which brings us up. Actually, below that tweet, there's actually the link there to the build box, which shows all 70, and it's really organized really well. You can kind of easily browse through those and check them out. I highly recommend you know, combing through those to kind of get an idea, what everyone's been building. And keep in mind, like, this is a hackathon, right? So it's a very truncated timetable. So the back end takes precedent. It's more about exploring new ways to utilize these LSP standards. Not necessarily polishing the front end, which that stuff can obviously just easily be updated. The difference this time is universal profiles are live, during this hackathon. So these projects can just kind of keep that momentum going straight into mainnet if they choose so.
Mm. That's the most exciting element of this, is now there's not this huge waiting period where we have to wait for the tooling to make something mainnet ready. Instead, good projects can start to actually move down the roadmap towards deploying on mainnet at the project speed, not waiting for LUKSO's development speed. That is going to, that's a huge obstacle that we're clearing right now, because previously for all other hackathons, we were still waiting for mainnet and mainnet tooling, but that tooling is all going to be available for these projects immediately after judging. So that's exciting in and of itself. The award presentation is going to be on December 14th. That's a date to mark in your calendar. It might be an interesting award ceremony that is going to, what do I want to say about it? It's going to be one that you're going to want to pay attention to, right? You're going to want to participate in, because it's going to give you opportunities to participate, right? And that's neat.
It's going to be a fun one, fam.
Yeah, for sure. All right. So we're not going to cover all 70 of these hackathon projects. One, it would be inappropriate. We're not judges. You as a community member, you can sift through them. Go find the link, like we said, that's in the description. You can click through. There are definitely some gems in there. Fabian put out a tweet earlier. If you're willing to comb, you're going to find some really interesting stuff there. But as with all hackathons, not every one of these projects is going to make it to mainnet. Instead of like looking at every specific project and bringing them up ahead of that judging ceremony, instead we kind of focused around some themes. And before I get to that theme, because I saw Tuzi was in the comments, like Tuzi had a great Phygital project where they proved out this like concept of being able to have NFC chips that they actually built custom in a short amount of time, where you could have your own Phygital application. So whether it be a t-shirt that you wanted to then connect to the LUKSO blockchain, they built up this really incredible kind of proof of concept app, right, called Phygital. I mention it now because I'm not going to talk about it in depth in a minute, but I wanted to say there are lots of really neat projects that are there that we're not going to mention in this next little segment. I don't want you to think that we didn't appreciate them or that we're overlooking them, but we're just trying to hit on some high level themes that we think the community can be excited about. The first theme, Alts, I know you're interested in the RICO.
I am interested in the RICO, which, if you don't know, it's a reversible ICO. So we know the ICO boom, right, from the Ethereum days, kind of with ERC20, which, Fabian co-authored, kind of launched this epic just run of projects just getting blasted out with funding, in a kind of a new way. But, it was fraught with a lot of, issues and kind of like even scams of projects just not going through and actually out building anything. So, Fabian, they built this thing called a reversible ICO, which, allows you to, in this case, with LUKSO, allowed you to buy the LYXE token at the time, over time, while maintaining the ability to reverse your commitment. So you're partially committing things kind of in a scheduled tiered system. And then basically what it means is, if the project, say, doesn't live up to their end of the bargain, or you're kind of getting cold feet or whatever, you can pull out the rest of your commitment along the way, which makes it, much more transparent, and adds this layer of accountability for the project to actually, makes things way more safer, for the investors. So I love the concept of it. And being able to, what we got here with Ziz's project, I think it's going to be great to kind of, blend that into the community side of things too for crowdfunding. It's going to really change the game, to be able to safely, you know, help grow projects and kind of help do your part to kind of help with this, network effect within this LUKSO ecosystem, right?
Yeah, I might have buried the lead on the actual theme that we're hitting on here because I was just so excited to talk about Tusi's project. But like what we might get hit with a Rico, funny. The submission theme is, are we going for basically an ICO round 2, like a new boom? In 2017, Ethereum took off because we had all of these ICOs. And actually, not just Ethereum, but we started getting a lot
Right.
of other token raises outside that as well for other projects. We know that that was fraught with scams. So we have to somehow remake this system in a way that there's reputation attached to the projects that are raising. Well, we do know that using universal profiles, potentially it's a little bit more transparent who is raising, why they're raising. And with mechanisms like the reversible ICO, that could really bring a new facet, some new type of dynamic to these ICOs. But what we do know with these initial coin offerings, right, is that it brought a lot of liquidity into the ecosystem. And it's funny. I say funny. I think it's fun to think about here as a submission theme because first we had crowd up. You can see we also have Luxa. Luxa is another. In the next tweet, we've got Luxa, and Luxa is another platform in this hackathon that again serves to try to help organizations, projects, DAOs, creators raise money, crowdfunding from the community itself, right? To support whatever the project or ecosystem is that's trying to get bootstrapped. This is a big theme because how do you get projects? Well, how do projects find funding? They need to be connected with the people who have the funds. In an ecosystem like this, you could see how very quickly excited community members could initially fund the projects, get behind projects, and help projects grow. Right, Alts?
Yeah, especially in a very new budding ecosystem, right? That's what's so great about it. It's like it's a fresh slate to kind of build on. So it'll be really exciting to see, a lot of projects come out of that, and the community be able to have an active hand in that growth. Like Lux is, kind of being a hub, wants to be a hub for the new creative economy with that focus on crowdfunding. So it's kind of like taking the Web 2 model of Kickstarter, Indiegogo, GoFundMe, Patreon, like those style concepts, and moving them on chain and adding that layer of transparency and fairness. Plus it allows and opens up and unlocks like new ways to incentivize and also reward those community members too. So it kind of creates this bridge between the investors and the project itself that doesn't really exist, in Web 2.
Yeah.
But yeah, actually, that brings up that we got another version of that as well, Bitvia. So it's one DApp to kind of build and grow these Web3 communities, which also integrates that crowdfunding into it, right? So with these new standards, like all the interesting part is these things can all be done natively in a single platform, right? Instead of having to go to various places to mint a token and to do different parts and parcel it out, you can do it all in a singular platform. So, allows you to connect directly with your fans and communities, like to kind of open and unlock this next level of collaboration. So I mean, keep in mind too, like with all these kind of social fi interactions, we're going to be able to continue to add and build out our on-chain reputation through the process of interacting with these types of things, which really kind of takes it to the next level.
Yeah. So if that first theme that we're kind of hitting on is this idea that we might hit another ICO boom, but here within the Luxo ecosystem, we're not saying that it's going to be a scammy boom, right? That is not going to build a lot of value. Instead, we're saying right away, you see participants in the hackathon envisioning ways where you actually are going to leverage the hyperconnectivity of these universal profiles, the people in this ecosystem being connected, knowing each other, knowing the projects that are coming out, and then leveraging those connections to actually help bootstrap a lot of really good ideas out there, even existing projects that might be looking for funding so they can add another developer. They can take their project to the next level. And we thought that that as a theme was really exciting. Another theme that we found was like, we've got a liquidity crunch, right? We really do. We do not have the exchanges that we need right now. People bitch all the time when Coinbase, when Binance. So we actually had some teams go out there and try to think about, well, how can we solve this liquidity crunch from a builder's end? And the team at Sigmatic put together Sigma Swap. That's Selby and Jordy. And Sigma Swap is using a wrapped Lux concept to try to bring that wrapped Lux token back over to Ethereum, where then you could effectively create a liquidity pool in the same way that Lux E is being traded against an ETH pair or a Tether pair, right? Or a USDC pair, depending on how we're creating those pools on Uniswap. We could effectively create, you take the token Lux, the coin Lux, you wrap it in a smart contract, you issue back now this new ERC20 on the Ethereum side that is wrapped Lux. And that wrapped Lux, again, you could create a liquidity pair. You could open up a pool, wrapped Lux against USDC, and then help bring value to the chain because you could actually help in some ways bridge the value from Ethereum back over to the Luxo network. And this kind of goes actually in concert with another idea that came up, and that was LUKSO. LUKSO was actually a bi-directional bridge. And if you want to know more about LUKSO, they actually swung by the What's Up Twitter space on Tuesday and had a quick chat. So if you want to hear more directly from LUKSO, find that Twitter chat. And this is a little nuts. We'll put it in the description, but go to Alta's Twitter, scroll down through his 57 tweets, and then you'll find the link for that chat. But LUKSO popped in there, one of the developers, and had a nice chat about where they thought they might be going, why it's so important to have this bi-directional bridge. And bridges are how value is going to move from the island that we are right now back to the other islands or the mainland, depending how you think about it, where the value has been built, right? Like if we are just sitting on the island by ourselves, we have a closed economy. We want something that's a little bit more open. So LUKSO is a really neat idea. And again, the submission theme here was community solutions for solving the liquidity crunch. The last thing I'll mention here, Alps, before I smash it over to you, is these guys at LUKSO are talking about building a protocol. So effectively, they'd make it so anybody could compete to build a user interface on the front end. You could build the sexiest user interface that you want and plug into this backend protocol. And that way, there'd be a lot of competition for who could make it the easiest to use and then allow a lot of user inputs here, which is, again, I love the ethos.
Yeah, no, I love that. That's just kind of that's the ethos of the, what Luxo's been building in general, right? Is make amazing standards and protocols that like you can just kind of give out to the world and let them run with it and improve things and kind of build out the front end as well. So yeah, shout out for like it's really important to kind of start building out these financial rails so so that way things can kind of flourish and bring in much needed liquidity, right? So yeah, shout out to both those projects, and I'm looking forward to seeing what else kind of comes out of that sector as well. Yeah, actually that leads us into like the third theme, which was kind of hit on earlier, social fi, which I personally think is going to be a huge factor kind of in this next cycle of adoption, and kind of like we mentioned earlier, moving beyond those monetary instruments to kind of a new sector that hasn't really been tapped into yet, right?
Yeah. And when we talk about social fi, we take social and finance, and sometimes they're directly connected, right? Like maybe you have a financial app, like a crowdfunding app of some sort that you're going to add chat features to, you're going to add some social connectivity to, but it can also work in the other direction where you start purely as a chat app and then you move into more integrations with economic activity. In this case here, Universal Page, as you know, which is it's a diverse platform that Jake and Vlad have been putting together. They just submitted that team UpMessage, and UpMessage for the hackathon is a standalone messaging. It's really end-to-end encrypted messaging service. They've publicly stated they have an intent to integrate it with Universal Page. So this starts to work in this way where you have a chat app where two profiles can connect and chat, but it becomes financialized in the way that, like, if you both hold the same token, if you both hold, like, if you were both holding Platties together or Chill Whales together or Universal Punks together, you immediately can see that in the chat interface, right? And you know, right, there's a connection there. Now, what that connection will enable you to do, again, is really up to you, and it's up to your imagination. There's so much that can be done here. What we want to stress is, again, the interconnectedness of this operation. The theme is that social media, social fi experimentation, because that is what the LUKSO network is built on. It's instead of taking these EOAs that are really disconnected endpoints, we're putting these smart contract profiles, right? These smart contract accounts on top of these EOAs that really allow people, it enriches that social graph. And we find that incredibly interesting.
Yeah. No, I mean, how many times have you, you know, been on OpenSea and like, oh man, I like this NFT. I want to make them an offer, or I want to ask them a question about it, or like, oh, this artist. And how many times have you wanted to connect with those people and you just simply can't, right? Like you, okay, well, you have to try to track down their Twitter and then hope you're not, you know, hope it's the right one, that you're not getting scammed in the process. And there's a whole host of issues of having to manually go through these, you know, 3 or 4 different platforms to try to find this person and communicate with them in some other platform, right? But that's the beauty of, you know, profiles over wallets is, you know, you can do it directly. The profiles can communicate directly to each other. And kind of what ETH was hitting on there, leveraging interconnectedness. You know what I mean? So, and the fact that it's encrypted chat, like profile to profile, that is just so cool. I can't wait to start using that.
Yeah, developed by Chads, Jake and Vlad. So we know the quality of their designs. We know the quality of their products. This is a great one.
Yeah, and that is okay. We got another one coming up here from Gawk. They submitted Charm LSP. Now, shout out to this team. Like they literally showed up with 3 days left in the hackathon and managed to put this together. Quite impressive. So what it kind of does is they're allowing you to use an Instagram login, and the Charm LSP, it initiates a token transfer mechanism to the user's Instagram address, eliminating the need for an automatic up setup. Like this thoughtful integration kind of ensures a secure and user-friendly experience so the users can navigate the platform like seamlessly and effortlessly. So yeah, this kind of blew my mind. This is a use case I haven't even really thought of yet. You're just talking about like just next level interoperability there, right?
Yeah. Interesting. I can't wait to see what the actual judges have to say about this kind of stuff. And I'm not going to like enter my own opinion on the technical prowess of the team. What I want to highlight is people say all the time, where's the marketing? Where's the marketing? Well, believe it or not, Gawk and the team there are from a university just down the street from where the meetup happened in Istanbul. And that's how this happens like wildfire. You meet people, they get interested, they think it's cool, and then they want to build things. That's the marketing that brings this type of development to you, the end user. So you can go put Luxo on a billboard and tell everyone to embrace the chain and we'll all love being pink. But the actual person to person, developer to developer conversation is what brings people in and develops neat things that then, I don't know, we don't know where Charm LSP is going to go long term. What we do know is we wouldn't even have the opportunity to see something like this if we didn't have that really authentic peer-to-peer marketing on the ground that the team's investing in.
Yeah, well said, Eth. Yeah, that organic growth is how you really truly get, you know, what's really important is that DApp layer, right? We need builders, we need devs, we need creators as well. So that's a big factor. So I'm happy to see that continued growth on that side of things.
Yeah. And I guess that fits in narrative wise. I wasn't intending to go here, but our last kind of tweet that we have in this section is from Jack, our friend Jack, with the proof of participation protocol. Now you can see he thanks MetaGemma, who's Jack's like partner in crime there, and then Aureliano, who is also a developer that helps us out with MetaHeads. Aure is a fantastic human being behind a lot of projects, really hard worker, really inventive mind, and they came up with this great idea. I mean, I don't want to cheapen it by even discussing it all that much right now. I would say please just go watch the video and then think about all the ways that this could be leveraged to do some really neat things on crypto rails, because you could probably connect it to something that is an analog in Web 2. Here's an example. I don't want to, again, just simple example so you recognize the power. In order to go to the meetup, if you wanted to go to the meetup, you had to respond to an RSVP in the Particle, and then they were able to put you on a list, and that was effectively your ticket. Well, this would do the same thing, except you could get a token that represents it, a proof of participation. It could be an LSP 7 or 8. If it's a dynamic NFT, you could then put all of the meetup videos in the metadata, right? You could put links to them. You could put pictures of the meetup in there, right? You could put the cocktail recipes in that dynamic NFT. There's a lot of cool stuff that you could do. So this is a really powerful idea and a really kind of cool integration. That's what I thought.
Yeah, no, yeah. Shout out Jack, Jem, and Arliano. Love what you guys have built there. Same thing. I won't dive too much into any of these, right? Because the whole point is like we're just trying to kind of pique your interest, and then you guys can kind of dive in yourself. Because, like I said, on Build a Box, they have all these submissions have all the reading materials and videos, and you can really dive in deep to each one if you want. But yeah, you were talking about like in Istanbul, right? We had a week full of conferences and panels and events, and it was messy, man. Like having to submit and apply to all these different things using multiple different platforms and stuff, and it's just very hard to kind of juggle all that stuff. So like something like this would make that way easier. But also like it's really important, like you said, that this protocol has endless types of applications, but IRL provenance will be a real thing, right? And being able to build on-chain reputation through your IRL, experiences is really important. And I think that people are kind of underestimating that. That's going to be a great element to this whole thing.
Yeah, agreed, dude. Agreed. And this is where we end the hackathon conversation. And we're doing a disservice to the teams on and I say that, and I'm trying to be like, I say disservice because there are so many good projects that we did not mention, right? And there are innovative metaverse solutions that someone like Canvasland put together. There's so many things out there that we're just not going to have time to highlight, nor do we feel it's responsible for us to really kind of highlight too many individual projects without the team judging them first. So that's why we chose today. We're going to end it here instead of going blow by blow across 70 really cool projects, right? We just kind of gave you some basic themes, kind of pique your interest. So maybe you'll go in yourself and you'll dig and you'll try to gem hunt. And then what we want you to take to the social media. We want you to take to Twitter, come to the forums and the KEEZ Discord, LUKSOverse, Telegram, whether it be the LUKSO Discord. And we want you to chat this stuff up. We want you to talk about it. We want you to throw these ideas around because it's in that idea melting pot where really cool stuff comes up, right? Yeah, that's my final say.
Love that, ETH. Love that, ETH. Yeah, we want to hear everyone's thoughts on all these things. So yeah, I think it's really worth your time to kind of come through, and it gives you like kind of put your finger on the pulse of what these standards are capable of at this time, and kind of even helps your imagination grow of how this stuff can evolve, moving forward, and try to put some value on that, right?
Without a doubt. All right. We haven't done this in a while, but when I woke up this morning, things looked a little green. So let's go up and to the right. And up and to the right, we provide a weekly review of the markets from a LUKSO perspective. We present a range of prices from the lowest to the highest, and we give the prevailing price at the time of the broadcast. Moreover, we provide a summary of the market capitalization. We compare the existing market framework with a market cap goal aiming for a humble top 100. Also, keep in mind, this is not financial advice. What you hear in this podcast is just our opinion. We are JPEGs. Well, animated JPEGs. So I guess we're not JPEGs. We're 3D avatars, but we're definitely not experts. If you need specific advice, please ask somebody who's a professional in that area. Listen at your own risk and always double check before making decisions based upon what we talked about. You can see we got up over $7. That's a big green candle there. We actually dipped back down. When Rob put this together a little while ago, it was 670, but right before we went on, it was back up over 680. So good things are moving. And if you're wondering who occupies the top 100 right now, alts.
Pepe looks like it's Pepe. I see a little Pepe face there, looking
Yeah.
cheeky.
Yeah, cheeky. And if we were the top 100, if we were the top 100 right now by market cap, that would be a token price of $13.43. Cool.
Yeah, no, I mean, it was great to wake up to some volatility today, right? Like the greater markets, Bitcoin's moving again. But yeah, as you said, you know, like dot swoosh, I'm not. We are not JPEGs, and we are never giving financial advice. You know, but it's just it's always interesting to kind of circle around and kind of see what the sentiment is and what things are looking like, because we personally have a very long term vision of this project, so it's just more about kind of acknowledging milestones along the way, right?
Yeah. I would say if you feel very strongly about um, liquidity in this ecosystem, write very strongly worded letters to your local exchanges and tell them they're missing out on the future of blockchain. It is nice to see volume starting to pick up a little bit there, though. And I'm pretty sure that Gate.io is undertaking the LUKSE to Lux migration. So we should get some more liquidity soon, at least a little bit, right?
Yeah,
I
we
don't want to
recently
overstate
had
that.
well, we recently had listings on CoinX and RocketX as well. So I think they're just continuing to trickle in, and then hopefully before too long we get some bigger players as well.
Sure, without a doubt. I've probably said without a doubt 50 times.
Without a
Rob,
doubt.
edit that in post. Oh, fuck it. We do it live. All right. So let's go to the network update.
All right, congratulations to the LUKSO community. Like we've surpassed 100,000 validators. That is pretty epic already, considering we just went live in May. To give us some comparison, Ethereum has 806,000, which is about 20% of their supply. So we have about 11 or 12% of our supply. So we're gaining pretty quickly, but I'm not sure what the exact numbers will be. But like even once we match their 20% of amount staked, we're still going to have quite a bit higher APR, I think, right, ETH?
Yeah, absolutely. It's the same It's the same emission curve, right? You can check it out on the ETH2 staking calculator if you're ever really curious about what the yields would be based upon the amount of Lux staked. If you're a person who heard 806,759 and said that's not 20% of Ethereum, multiply it by 32, right? And when you do that, it's up it's up around 26 million. So like be very just we do check these numbers, believe it or not. And that comparison of 12% of the LUKSO supply currently staked versus the 20% of the Ethereum supply currently staked, like we're doing a pretty good job here, guys. So let's keep this up.
Yeah, well said. And I think that's just going to continue to grow, right? As stuff like DApp node ships more out and those things come online, as well as some other services.
Yep.
Uh,
Uh, so you said that you almost said we were limited to 100,000 validators. Let's check in and get the actual numbers from the LUKSO staking launchpad. You can see we've got over 3 million Lux locked up, and that number is sure to increase in the near term. That's over 102,000 validators, and the current APR is about 8.6%, which is quite nice, right? And that 8.6% assumes 100% uptime. You will not have 100% uptime. If you want 100% uptime, you're going to put it in probably like something that is a very stable liquid staking service. And then you're paying them to do it. So you're going to lose a little bit of a percentage off that. If you're a home staker, there's always times that you're down, including Rob right now. You should all subsidize him because he takes his node down to run this show every week.
Shout out, Rob.
I love you, Rob. So let's move on to Lux.tools. Lux.tools, you can see the validator queue has finally been cleared out. We had that big wait time with the onboarding of all of the stakers in LEEQUID. Now, if you want to join, it's less than a minute to get your validator online, which is kind of cool. The other number I want to talk about there, Alts, which I think is rad. Look at the Lux burned. We've gone over 100, and that's on very few transactions. Imagine when Universal Page goes live, how many people buying NFTs and moving random things around. It's going to be a lot of people, and there's going to be a lot more Lux burned.
Yes, I want to burn all the Lux. That's one of the great things. As as the activity increases, so does that burn rate. So yeah, love that dynamic. It's going to be a fun one.
So this makes a great time to say it. If you're new to the ecosystem, EIP 1559 is part of the LUKSO network, right? Like, so we burn the base fee of every transaction, friends. Like, give me the Elmo meme. I'm looking up to the sky with flames behind me because every time someone makes a transaction on the network, we got burning going on. That's a good thing. That means if we get enough people who are using the network, we could potentially go deflationary.
That's a
Ultrasound
good goal.
Lux.
That's a good goal to reach for.
Are we going ultrasound Lux?
Polymath, burn it all. Yes. Maybe not all of it. We need to keep some.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, that gives us, let's check out the next metric we have, discover universal profiles. So we have, last we checked this morning, there was a little over 2,100 already made in just over 3 weeks. So that's a pretty good amount. I would say a steady increase already. And that's without any sort of dApps live yet on mainnet, right? So like as things start rolling out, I think those, there's gonna be a lot more use cases and reasons to make universal profiles. And if you aren't aware, the team is subsidizing gas fees for each of us to make 3 free universal profiles, which is pretty awesome.
That if I could open my mouth without talking in this avatar, it would give me the Home Alone Kevin look. No, I mean, that's fantastic, right? Free gas. You are incentivized to play around on the network and use this because you don't have to put anything up front. Oh my God. Imagine that, right? Like, so every one of these social fi applications, everything that's going on, you can just sample it. You can just, work transactions through, see how it goes. And actually, this leads us to our next tweet. Universal profiles, the ERC725 account. This is the account you want to follow for all tech updates. This is what you want to follow for all of the ongoings inside the universal profile ecosystem. And this tweet here tells you, if you read it tight, it's in beta still. So we have a box around reveal private keys because when the beta first came out, it's a minimum viable product. The team is working to upgrade this constantly. Because of that, if you have things like a suggestion came from Jiraiya in the Discord, it would make a lot more sense if you capitalized the P on private and the K on keys. It would look better. The team is responsive. They go, you're absolutely right. And then they fix it. However, if everyone takes to the Discord and just starts chirping, it gets lost because Discords are really difficult to keep track of, right? So we've got to develop better feedback loops to give this kind of feedback. So don't just go in there and just nitpick every little thing. Understand that this is going to continuously get upgraded over time. The other thing I want to say, because gas is being subsidized, do not load up your universal profiles with your life savings. Don't mortgage your house. Let's not refinance your property and then put all of that money inside a universal profile. Like, you can still store your Lux on MetaMask. I'm sorry, in your ledger, right? You can still store it there. It's totally fine. You can actually interact with the liquid staking protocols like LEEQUID through a MetaMask. Why? I know we all want to use universal profiles, but right now, while they're in beta and they're still improving and improving and improving, there's not the incentive to transfer a lot of wealth through it. Instead, use it in social applications in the way that it's really intended to be used right now. You can play with everything with gas being subsidized. You really don't need any Lux in there except what you would use to maybe purchase an NFT when NFTs go live, right?
Yeah, that's such a great distinction. Just a clarification, as always, just to take it. There's no reason to FOMO into storing value on these things, right? It's currently version 3 of beta, so act accordingly. And those those features are going to continue to get added, and improvements will continue to roll out, which is great. And I love to see the community, being an active participant in helping kind of shape this thing and move things along. But yes, there's no need to store any value there yet. So there's no rush. As things roll out, we can, keep stepping further into our universal profiles, as needed.
Tonto DeFi is making me laugh. Sold.
Sold the house already. Can't save everybody.
No, can't save everyone. Listen, you can't win a marathon in the first mile, but you can lose it. Don't lose this race. Don't lose it. Okay.
Yeah, don't pull those hammies, fam.
No,
just take your time and stretch.
Perfect.
But yeah, let's go ahead and head out to some, fashion, art, music, and entertainment section of the show.
He was dancing. I was
Yeah.
going to give space for it. All right. So on the non-technical side of LUKSO, LUKSO is actually going to be the platform that Boys Club World is going to launch edition 2 of their zine. And there's going to be a party down at Art Basel in Miami on December 7th. And the queen herself, Marjorie, will be there. Isn't that kind of cool? Make sure you check out this tweet so you can RSVP to try to get tickets, because this is a ticketed event. If you're wondering, why is this exciting? I don't give a shit. You should, because zine number 1 for the Boys Club had about 90,000 mints, as I quote, beef banks. We have 2,000 universal profiles. If universal profiles are used to mint this, think about that, friends. Think about how many more profiles are going to get onboarded because of this zine launch. It's mind-boggling. I know boggle is the word.
Mind-boggling. I like that.
It puts my mind in a bottle.
In a pink pill bottle. But yeah, no, we love to see it. Every new use case from here on out, right, is going to start just stacking up those universal profiles that are created to be able to use them, right? And I'm sure it'll be an epic party as per usual. When it comes to Boys Club, they do some really dope events. Next up, we've got one from The Hub. It says, exciting times ahead. The Hub is set to shine within the LUKSO universe. So yeah, if you don't know about The Hub, they look to be like a metaverse kind of portal, right? I don't know. They get some really cool stuff. They got some upcoming weeks. They're going to unveil, the details on this project. But they have some really cool stuff on their site, and they have some big players too. Looks like they are backed by Polygon, Sandbox, Decentraland, Brick, Ocean, and LUKSO. So yeah, I'm really excited to see what they have rolling out. And it's just another one, right? We're just stacking up more projects ready to roll out on this LUKSO mainnet.
Yep. I've got nothing to say about this because I know absolutely nothing about it, but the potential for gaming, the potential for metaverse applications is massive. I mean, we're in VR right now, right? And we know we've got projects like Canvasland that are super bought in, have already hosted KEEZ events to do this and be able to connect your universal profile. My thumbs don't work today, but I'm giving you thumbs up.
One of mine works. But yeah, let's go to the timeline and check out some Pinkest tweets. All right, so first one, we got one from this guy, Ethan Lorian. Over time, this account has become a Licks Maxi account. He's not sorry because pink is a lifestyle. We got the pink Pepe there. Love it. Embrace the chain with pink pajamas.
The art itself was done by Toomheads, the account Toom. And Toom's actually an artist that made a lot of noise on the Phantom Network. And whether or not you use the Phantom Network is really not important. What is important is we are attracting interesting people, creative people to this ecosystem. And that's kind of what we highlight here in the Pinkest tweet. So Toom, big shout out for that. I grabbed it because it is, that's our spirit animal right there. Maybe.
Yeah. The pink wizard for sure. He can take many forms.
Yeah. He can take many forms. I almost gave away some alpha and then just didn't.
Oh, I like what you did there.
All right. So we got a tweet from Alt. Today's the future of blockchain embarks on a journey upwards into the future. Look at that, Fabian. He's a wizard. He has a magic wand.
Yeah, he does.
I have a magic wand.
You can tell Alt was looking at the soundboard because his head.
Yeah, I was trying to find that one quickly. I got too many on here now. But yeah, I always love refacing Fabian onto some interesting art because he is a wizard of the blockchain. Mm-hmm. So next up, we got one from our patented local AI magician himself, Mince. He's actually replying to my good friend Billy Bob Bagholder, true OG. He says he's throwing out some numbers of when Licks will be in the top 200, top 100, top 50, and ultimately top 10. And for those of us who, understand the fundamentals of LUKSO, it's kind of hard to argue that path. But I love this little minion, this little pink minion, Me Bella. That's really cute.
Yep. And Billy Bob Bagholder, there's a little excitement in the community because it's actually a larger influencer, and people in the community are always saying, when are the big influencers going to pay attention? Because Alt and I are not big enough. So Billy Bob Bagholder has a whole bunch of followers who are constantly looking for new gems, and Billy Bob doesn't miss, right?
No, he susses out alpha like nobody's business. So no surprise that he found his way into LUKSO.
Yeah, it's fantastic. All right, and that brings us to our winner, Beeple, who made this purely for the LUKSO blockchain. We're sure of it. Fabian loves astronauts. He loves Tesla. Beeple, pink, astronaut. I mean, that might actually be Fabian in the front there. I'm not really sure. So Beeple,
it looks like his silhouette.
Congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations for Beeple for finally breaking through and making it into, the Pinkest Tweet. This one's a great vibe. Can't wait to see whenever you make a universal profile someday, my friend.
Yeah, so we're definitely going to congratulate Beeple on the timeline. You should do the same for winning the Pinkest Tweet here on Pinkville. On the Pinkville. We'll make sure to tag him when we put out the recap.
Well, how about a little bit of visual learning for the fam, Eth?
Yeah, sounds good to me. So we've got a few of these visual learnings today. First one here is from Fico. It's a classic Beckham household there. Like, tell me the truth, be honest. And, we got Victoria saying LUKSO's just an EVM. And we got David saying, did you deploy a gasless universal profile? And Victoria says, yes, but it's just a count abstraction. And he goes, be honest. Well, it's a freaking powerful profile-based account. Thank you. Right? That could be me and my wife. We had the conversation earlier today.
I don't think you'd be that calm, though.
No, I'd be far more demonstrative.
Like, be honest. All right, next up, we got one from Yaman. I never get tired of Yaman's 4337 trolling, to be honest. This one says, and you finally managed to convince people that EIP 4337 is a relay execution standard and not an account standard. That's what people it's really important for them to realize, like, true account abstraction is at the profile level instead of a wallet level, right? So, but what better way to continue to shout that message than with hilarious memes?
Yeah, and Yaman definitely is no fan of 4337 as a abstraction standard. He is vocal and funnily vocal. Is that, I don't even know if you can say funnily. He is humorous. That's better. He's humorous with his takes on 4337. So I appreciate this one, Yaman. All right. We do also have the all of the drowning proposals. And we're going to save the LUKSO standard proposal, and the rest of them can go underwater.
We even abandoned our child ERC20.
Yeah. Thanks, Maximus. I appreciated this one.
Yeah, that one's hilarious. And last up, we got one from Open Your Mind, GM Lux Fam. We got our guy in the corner. They don't know I have a universal profile. That's just how we basically feel, being under the radar for so long, that we're off, building in the corner and people are just doing the same old, no clue what we've been building, right? But it's like, we're kind of on the precipice now of getting close to, one day you're under the radar and then one day you're not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. At some point, it'll be all four people dancing with universal profiles, and the guy in the corner will be like, why are they having so much fun?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Oh, actually, we do got one more from you, Eth.
Oh, this is a great one. I didn't put this together, but I saw it and I immediately grabbed it. You got the Web3 then versus Web3 now, where Web3 then is like all of this really idealistic stuff. We'll rebuild the internet. We'll give power back to the people. Let's fix social media, reimagine governance. And Web3 now is, yes, I tweet about your coin. Please buy my keys. I'll send money to this scammer. Okay, lock my money for a year, like in the blast ridiculousness. That's hilarious. Rob, I just heard Rob come over. Someone's phone's ringing because he heard the vibration in the background. That's great. It was mine. My daughter's calling. All right. So anyway, so I like this one because then doesn't have to be lost to the moments of the past, right? In this ecosystem right now, LUKSO is really exciting because in the original Ethereum white paper, there were all of these use cases for smart contracts that were envisioned by Vitalik. And now with a proper identity solution that kind of sits on at the fundament of this ecosystem, so many of these really larger goals, these more altruistic goals, the reason that really excites people to engage, or the reasons that excite people to engage, they're here, right? So Web3 then can be Web3 now. It's just a matter of what you choose to engage in. So if you want to trade a bunch of shit coins and ape into NFT projects, like that's you, right? But if you want to build for the future and really do cool stuff, it doesn't have to be mutually exclusive. You can do both.
Right. Yeah. I mean, up to this point, that's about all you could do in Web3, right? Was just trade tokens. That was about it. But yeah, with these new LSP standards and what Luxo's built, we're moving towards an identity-centric ecosystem, not monetary-centric, right? So it's going to open up a host of other things, and I think that's what's going to, actually bring in the average user, right? Because we're having the ability to abstract the terrible UX out of the equation for them, and then also, giving them new things to do that they will actually use, like things that they're doing in Web 2, and we just kind of slide them over into Web 3 and then keep doing the same thing, but do it on chain.
So you don't realize it yet, but I've lost signal here. So
I'm stretching.
Frozen in time.
We can still hear you. So all good.
Oh, perfect. Okay. Yeah. So I missed everything you said because I was freaking out that my
Oh,
headset.
no, you're good. Well, we're good. We're moving into the last little section here. Anyways, we've got a tweet from KEEZ, the KEEZ account. We're excited to announce the first KEEZ times Mana retreat in Vega Alto, Puerto Rico. So there's going to be an island exploration, tech talks, workshops, and a whole lot more. So, it's a step towards stronger IRL connections in the KEEZ community. So kind of merging worlds, really interesting dynamic there. So there's some details on the KEEZ account there. We'll have the link in the bottom too, if you want to check out more.
Yeah. Awesome. All you have to do, find this tweet on the KEEZ account or visit the description post show, and you can find all the pertinent information on the Notion site and go down and visit a beautiful place in Puerto Rico and spend some time with the KEEZ community. I can't get over, I am just locked in space. My mouth moves, but nothing else. It's actually tripping me out.
Yeah, it's Ethelorian paralyzed.
Oh, good God.
You know what? I think Luxo solves that too.
LUKSO always solves it.
Jack, I'm frozen in time. That's what happens when you OD on pink pills. You just lock up.
Oh man. All right. If you had a ton of fun visiting us with us today and you don't pop into our Twitter spaces, just know on Tuesdays at 11 a.m. you can find him on Alta's account. We have the What's Up LUKSO community Twitter space, and that's a great time where you can make your voice heard, because right now we don't have a great venue for you to talk here, although we appreciate your comments there. We can get you right up on stage and you can tell us all about how we're dopes if you want to, or you can talk about LUKSO, which we prefer.
Yeah, please join us. It's like I said, it's a community spaces, so we want to hear from you guys and gals. And yeah, it's going to be on Tuesdays at 11 p.m. or 11 a.m. Eastern. But yeah, before we wrap up here, Eth, I did have a quick question for you.
I was not prepared for this today.
Good. I can tell you're not prepared for a lot. But yeah, so why did the ghost go to rehab?
What kind of rehab?
Just rehab.
Well, there's lots of different rehabs.
Just standard rehab.
Anyone got a comment? Anyone want to guess in the comments? Because I don't have this one. I have literally no ideas.
He was addicted to booze.
Oh, I knew it had to do with boo. I knew it did. I lost the Z on the end of it.
I try to make them low hanging as possible to let you grab one, but I was let down today. It's okay. You got bigger problems right there, being paralyzed, though, so no worries.
Yeah, I'm not reaching any low hanging fruit right now.
If I threw you a ball, it'd just hit you in the face right now, anyway. So,
yeah, pretty much. All right, Alts, that was a fun show.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, please, if you guys enjoyed it, give us a like and subscribe. And we appreciate you taking the time out of your day to join us, during this LUKSO wrap up. And for those of you watching on your own time, we appreciate you as well. And I guess, in the spirit of Elon Musk, go freaking have a great weekend, and do what you do, fam. Stay pink.